The colour I'm going to use to paint this shine will really surprise you. Hi, I'm Anna Mason. Welcome to this episode of Nature Studio TV, the place to be to create a nature-connected creative life. In this mini class, I'm going to show you how to create the shine effects to this jammy strawberry. Let's take a look. I worked from a photo I took and drew the strawberry nice and large to make capturing detail easier. I included all those seeds as well as an outline to the most prominent shapes of highlight at the top. Next, I painted a pale layer to the seeds, darkening the colour as I worked my way down the strawberry to the darker lower half. Now able to see the seeds clearly, I painted a pale layer of orangey red paint to all the areas of red flesh, excluding the main highlight at the top and the less bright areas of reflection to the sides of the strawberry. This red colour wouldn't be right to place there as those highlights are more muted in colour. With watercolour, we're painting the shine right from the start by painting around it. I didn't worry about overlaps as I'd be darkening almost all of these areas with further layers. After applying a pale layer to the sepals, the leaf-like things at the top, I mixed up a really dark red using a thick crimson colour and applied it to the darker lower third of the strawberry, being careful to work around the seeds. Next, I built up the top part of the flesh with a layer of a milky consistency orangey red. For me, this was a mix of a mid-red paint Scarlet Lake with a bright orange. And I again went around the seeds and the highlights. Once dry, I applied a slightly thicker second layer everywhere that needed to be darker, holding off from applying right to the shiny edges as the red colour there was lighter due to the shine. As I moved down, I made the red colour less orange and more crimson so it connected up with the crimson in the lower third. You can start to see this change in colour giving the strawberry its form. It's so fun when it starts to come together. Next, I applied another layer of the bright red, this time with the crimson mixed in, over the transition into the darker crimson colour below, and then using a mix with less of the bright red in it as I worked down to the darker bottom. Before working on the flesh again, I darkened up the seeds so that I could judge the tones or values in the piece better. By this point, the shiny areas to the sides of the strawberry are standing out as way too light as they needed working on next. The colour I'm going to use to paint this shine will really surprise you. I actually made a mix of a really pale brownish grey colour. And then, making sure the paper was totally dry, I applied it really gently as a glaze over those shiny areas to the sides, making sure the red colour didn't bleed into it too much. Using a good quality absorbent cotton paper helps with this. As I moved up the sides, I added some crimson into the mix to better match the colour there. And I even added a little orange colour to the mix for the top part, blending with my brush any hardline edges into the red layers from earlier. And I also used this mix to work into the light arched highlights above the seeds. And again, as I worked down the left side, I gently blended into the hardline edge of the red as I went to make a more graduated transition into the areas of shine. Because of the way hues and tones appear relative to the ones around them, I could now see that the reds needed darkening some more. I made sure the paper was dry and darkened up the darkest reds. Then I needed to darken the darker shiny bits again to bring them back in balance. Then I darkened the bright reds in the top 2/3 of the strawberry again with a milky consistency mix, adding more orange as before when nearer the top. Now it was time to darken the highlights at the top with a very pale brownish orange. Again blending and smoothing the transition into the flesh colour on the sides. Next, I used really watery red and my smallest brush to add some stippled detail into the main highlight and add darker details within them where I saw them in the reference photo. Having darkened the highlights, I could see that I needed to darken up the flesh again, which I did with another layer of the red mixes in a few places. Then I painted in the sepals, brightened up and added more details to the seeds, then made some final adjustments to the flesh, and it was finished. A full-length video class of this strawberry is available now with Nature Studio membership. If you've enjoyed this mini class, please subscribe to Nature Studio TV. Then pop over to naturestudio.com where you can sign up for a free class and find a whole heap of free resources to help you capture the beauty of nature on your paper. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. So it's important to take precautions if you discover that you've actually taken yours a little bit too shiny.